Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Oh man, my room sounds really echoey to me today. All right. Good morning. We got an interesting setup here because we're pretty much just still going lower, and there was already some extremes on the high 14 that were rejected. I don't know which way this is going to go. The E-mini is heading upwards though, which appears to be why we are going down. Oh no, I take that back. As we've been moving up, the E-mini has been moving up as well. This whole move right here. So we may auction higher after all. But we have that extreme up at like 14 to deal with first. 140. Then from the high. Meanwhile, in Bitcoin, we survived the weekend. That's how I'm going to put that. I still think that we could have a move up to 9,500. So, really thinking about powering down my Steam because that takes a few days. Anyways, so that's that. What's the market saying? Investors, Treasuries near 3%. I mean, they're going to get over it eventually, right? Well, let's grab the link. Good morning. Everybody's still asleep. Hungover from the weekend still. Oh dear, somebody's been eating food. So do we have any news today? Wholesale out. Just Canadian stuff. Consumer confidence on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, advanced GDP. Okay, well, good morning. Oh, it's 2 p.m. in France. Yep, it's still afternoon over there. How you been doing, by the way? And how much Verge do we have? 125. Let's put that in our portfolio. $40.50, what the heck? It's, this one right here. $2. Not bad. Okay, so let's look back through this highest holdings. Really? I'm concerned about that Steam in a downturn, but you have to power down. Powering down converts them back to steam in weekly batches over a period of 2 years. Hmm. Bum, 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 bum. That's okay. So that one, I'm not so sure we can do anything about. What about the Bitcoin Cash? Ba-doom, 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 ba-doom. Guess that we better put that steam power to good use, huh? Maybe I can hedge by just gaining more steam. Okay, so here's Bitcoin. Show me Bitcoin Cash. Boom. Holy shit. Excuse my language. Wow. That's just moving. I mean, that is not something that just stops. Where's the BTC, BCH? Wow. It has still got a ways to go, but it is definitely experiencing a breakout and turnaround, and it could very quickly flip on us. Well, not flip, but make a new high within a few weeks. Yeah, this is really hard. This is really hard to know where this is going to go. Bear market or bulls are back. Bitcoin Cash was huge. Yeah. From 0.9 to 0.15 in a couple of days, licking myself for holding BTC when you only have faith in the propaganda continuing to do its trick. Now, okay, so that's an interesting thought on your position, but I totally understand. Well, I'll tell you where I'm at. Okay, if I look at this all time, look at this. How you know how do I get it to show me like the whole shebang? Okay, what's going on here? We just getting some volume up. Did we just get some news? This over here. And startup pages. Yes. Okay. Okay. Main portfolio. I don't know how to make it show me the picture. Or maybe I click that. History. There we go. Okay. So some of these spikes here are Siacoin, so I don't pay too much attention to those. Okay, but basically here was where we were before like the crash. And even though Bitcoin is much lower, we have made a lot more on the upswing. So I think overall we've increased our holdings by quite a bit. And I'm feeling good that we're at this point, even though Bitcoin is not really much higher. I mean, we were like at 12, 15,000 when we were here. And my indicator still seems to be saying that we're overbought. Let's have that. Well, that was a strong up move that we missed, but I kind of didn't like what was going on anyways, so I'm not so sure I can beat myself too much over that. I'm not quite sure what happened there though. Okay, so today's number at 88.38 is 139. So my indicator continues to say that we are just right on the edge, and this could just instantly turn around on us. Okay, well, 14 was the level that we had mentioned at the top, right? We have more people investing this month than when Bitcoin was at 20K. How do you calculate that? So I have a hard time buying that. Let me show you. Here's a chart. Estimated transaction value continues to be low. So what's happening? People aren't moving it. They're buying it on the exchange, but they're not moving it back into, that they aren't moving it off the exchange to do stuff. But it continues to be very low compared to 2 months ago. So I say it's a bear trap, or sorry, a bull trap. It's a bull trap. Gonna take a few bites of food here while I wait for you. If the yield curve continues to flatten, it might complicate the ECB's task in exiting ultra-loose policy. That was a minute ago. May have been what pushed us. Bond traders have lost their nerve. What? What? Okay, well, there's your 14. And here in ZF, a pivot. If it is a bull trap, then we are all digging it. Yep. That's why I'm like, did I already close it? That's why I was like, I'm in a good spot here. 600. I want to pull that out. I want to get it in on the next bottom. Oh, I need to change that from all time to 1 day. How do I, highest holdings, Steam doesn't come off. Bitcoin Cash looks like it's going to continue. Ethereum, I'm not sure about. Siacoin. I suppose I could sell the Siacoin. Even though I still like it, garlic coin, there's no point in getting out of that one because it's still at anything below 10, I think, is okay for that. Verge. I don't like that candle in Verge. So maybe the Verge we can get rid of. Monero. By the way, did we ever get paid in Monero? Crypto. I would like to know. Still not. That pool has not found something in a month. So Deadpool. So maybe get rid of that. Bitcoin private. We could probably safely keep that one, right? I mean, maybe not. Maybe that one's just not. I mean, that was a pretty crappy trade overall, the Bitcoin private. Nem, I think we could, I don't know about Nem. I have to look at the chart on Nem. Nano doesn't tell us anything. Nano also looks like it's like at a low and I should keep, it's just kind of like, I look at them and all I see are reasons to possibly keep it, Polytmos probably shouldn't get rid of it. That'd be too hard to trade off anyways. So I could save like, 200 bucks. Maybe half of the portfolio. I don't know. I want the 9,500 though. I really think that it's going to get there. Well, if they can convincingly break that 14, you could have quite a breakout here, but at what looks like to be a 10K iceberg, I'm highly doubtful that's going to actually happen. Yep. I think that a short there at 13.5 would have been an okay trade. Not a setup that I could trade, but it does appear that ZF is pivoted and wants to move down a little bit. Yeah, so this is kind of a interesting spot, and we had a bunch of absorption at 14, but they don't seem to want to give up 13.5. Like I said earlier, though, I'm not so sure that the open mattered because we opened and we immediately went lower, and then when they retested it, was 14 was where they stopped. Yeah. So we get back up here, we're getting a ton of absorption, but look at what's happening in the 5-year. They're down 3 ticks. They've pushed significant selling volume, new low and cumulative delta. And ZN hasn't quite moved yet. That's spreading. Selling the 5, buying the 10. And you can see it happening in the 30-year as well. Although the 30-year just came off. So now that we came off, now I think it looks a little bit better for the short. I think this is a hard one, though. It's likely to jumble around here a little bit. Yeah, that was a significant sell in ZN there, though. Okay, well, it looks like if we had gone short at 13.5, we'd be in an okay spot. It's not really. I kind of thought that this volume in ZN would come off very quickly, and it's not. Hmm. Interesting to know that gold is getting killed this morning. But 6J is really going down. That move up was a good move that we missed. And I hope that if I had taken it, that I would have taken the 14. Because at the moment, it looks pretty grim in terms of further action. Yeah. The problem I see is that, can I pull my chart over here? We've had a good run, okay? With hardly almost any pullback at all. We come back here and we look at it. We're sitting at lows of the year. Basically, multi-year lows, really. And, you know, when you look at this as just a bear flag, you know, this clearly has to go further. And not only that, but you have to keep in mind, why are we going down? Well, it looks like some of the commodities are getting killed. You can see gold is going down because inflation is coming in. They're afraid that all of this move up in commodities is inflation. That means that they're going to have to raise rates again. So basically, all of the long-term signals are short, but you have this kind of, well, don't we kind of need to come back a little bit? Yeah, maybe not really. And so it's just going to sit here because of that. I don't know if all of that made sense, but this move up must surely have just been a technical trade and not a fundamental trade. But can we really get that much more to the downside today? Not so sure. Maybe Donald Trump will tweet something. He hasn't tweeted anything yet today. Tweet something. Poke, poke, poke. Peak earnings this week is almost 40% of the S&P will report and half of the FANG plus names. But PCE and 10-year move Friday may trump all earning beats. Opened up the window to cool things down, so sorry if that is annoying. There was a little bit of volume buying there in ZB. I mean, we're only one tick away from that 140 again. I wouldn't be surprised to see it tick again and see a bunch of rejection. And sure enough, there's your uptick. ZB wants it. Well, I could take it long. Certainly a better long second touch, isn't it? You need to see something more than that. You can see the cumulative delta came down and now it's almost back up to the top. So delta is making it look like that was a flag. The US is selling 96 billion of 2, 5, and 7-year notes this week, the largest slate of fixed rate coupon sales since 2014. Okay, that's an important one. Let's put that down in here. It's just kind of sitting. Certainly not going to break a new high like that, but they could they could just sweep it, so I get the feeling. Okay, that's a little bit better. I'll take that. If it goes through, will it do 160 or will it do 18? Well, where is 18? I don't see anything too significant about 18. I do see something that's significant about 19.5. We can't see what's there. Well, that looks to me like we all just got suckered into filling somebody short. Maybe if we can get some iceberging here too. Volume wasn't actually enough to make it a new high. That's interesting. Hmm. Okay. Not what we wanted to see. This 12.5 starts getting hit. I mean, that's a pretty solid bid there, but if that starts getting hit, I'm out. Suck. Well, I should have known better. Okay. Suck. stopped. So that's where with my type of stop, I get -1. Well, I took it. I mean, the way that bid stepped up said, oh, hey, we could do it. But then 6.5 came in and it didn't break through it. And I really should have gotten out faster. Because I knew it said that was exactly the thing, right? You either break through it or it's a trap. Didn't it? I didn't catch that. I think it was just you could clearly see that there was going to be another 10K traded there at 14. Yeah. Obviously, I wasn't the only one though, right? Like when it was 2 to 3, I should have hit out then. This is when you're like getting 125, 467 back tick, you're not going to get filled. It gave me -5. I had slippage. So that's where it was like, okay, there was 4 there. Said, okay, let's see if the 4 holds. It didn't come off. I probably should have taken it off then, but I probably should have taken it off before they went through it. Anyways, just because, like... Anyways. Let's not think too hard on it now. Obviously, we know. We know what happened. And honestly, clicking in there, I saw the bid step up and the uptick and all the volume come through. Is it 200? You maybe should be higher than that. Should probably be more like 700. So let's change that. Oh my gosh, is that somebody's car? That must be somebody's car. I think it's only given me the 1 tick of slippage like twice though, so... No, it drops when it's, yeah. No, I understand that. But what you don't want to happen is to get stopped out when there's an iceberg absorbing there, right? So it's kind of your choice. Yeah. The thing though is that it's really supposed to be a protective stop, and I should be stopping it before it gets there, and I just got caught flat-footed, you know. I didn't have a very good exit strategy there because I was saying we're hitting into this, and I should have been saying, you know, if we get a strong tick down to 13.5, I should just take the -2. So 3 ticks I shouldn't have given up. Well, CF certainly came back there. We could continue through, having a good bit of volume here. If we get a good offer at 110, then I think I could think about hitting in that one. If I take 110.5, I don't want to see it go further than 120. See, is it going to do it on the other side? Because that is just a little too easy. 1100 and doesn't go. Hmm. See that 36.45 at 150, 11.5 in CF. And there's 32.75 into 12. No, they're still going short. See the icebergs? This is reacting to this ZF. Interesting. I didn't notice that before, that there was a big order at 17 and it moved up to 20. Now I can't see the 17 anymore, so I don't know if it's still there. Bitcoin will hit 9K today, you watch. Well, it hasn't really moved yet, has it? It's right now, it's right at the VWAP at 89.30. And so people in the channel were talking about, oh, it's tried to hit 9,000 a couple of times and it couldn't do it, but I don't think any of these are like super impulsive or anything like that. And none of them beat out this initial high sell event, right? So I think that what it really is just we had to move up and it's held over the weekend is really all I would say about that. There you go. And it's just held. So I think that another, we could see another real push up. It's hard to say though. Like here, something I'm noticing, or I was just thinking about with all that. Oh, by the way, did we tick up? Well, we did. They're gonna go for it again, are they? Okay, so we've been saying like a lot of money has been hitting the market, right? But if you look at that transaction volume or value in Bitcoin, it's not there, which means people are buying Bitcoin, but they're not buying it on the exchange. So what are they doing? Buying Bitcoin cash. Think so? You can buy Bitcoin cash, transfer it to where you want to go, trade it back into Bitcoin, and then trade it out into what you want to have. And that's why none of this transaction value is hitting the blockchain. Possible theory. Well, that was a lot of volume for them to break through at 12. Hmm. ZF still wants to go down. So let's not make the mistake that we did last time. Where would this go? To 13? Okay. Build the way that I wanted. Need that 112 to just pull. Or we just say 11-2, 11 quarter. Is there an equivalent word for 3/4? Pac-Man. There you go. Okay, so something's going on now. Oh, the equity open. That's what's going on now. That wasn't very wise of me, was it? And taking a trade right at the equity open. Okay. This is kind of funny because you know that equities are really just waiting to see what we're going to do, right? Well, if I pull this up and you look at the level 2, when they push down, this offer becomes a little bit more solid. So that's one indication. I think seeing here this is not good. That is good. That's not good. That's not good. So I think overall our indications are that this trade is not working out. But it's not continuing, so that's good. Only 103. I see now they're above the VWAP and it's flipped. And it's still not attracting many at 12.5. Okay. So I think this one's a little different. I think that we have a good chance of getting filled. Yeah. It's 6. I'm going to allow myself one more, but I'm not going to give it much room because those were all Both of those trades were pretty poorly done, I think. Nope, nope. That's gonna go. You're not gonna give up on that one. Nope. A little simulated trade here. But it was too slow. Hmm. This looks like a big iceberg here. Okay, that's not how you want to be filled, to be honest. Nope. That ticked up. Looks weak. Get back down, please. Okay. Not enough. Well, that's a little better. Yeah, that's kind of in a spot in it. I think I feel like at the moment at least I feel like I'm trading a little bit too far onto the edge. You know, because this is like the kind of the difference between the breaking point and or not, you know? And I think I've been preferring the shorts because it looked like a real failure up there. But then when you really look at it, we haven't been able to push below the VWAP. And I just took a short above the VWAP and it looked like, you know, we were within close enough for that to be okay. But now I'm unable to get an edge back, my edge back. Doesn't, you know, it just doesn't look good. Neither does this thing in ZB. Equities continue to look like they could go lower, and I'm not sure. That doesn't seem to be making us tick over here, so I'm not. That might just be a distraction. That's not good. But here, and more iceberging at 13. Should be ZB that leads us higher if we do. Oh, that's right. And there was the 300 at 143. 320 that traded there. ever get favorable ticks on any of those? No. So bad, guys. So bad. Not trading well today. Really, when you look at it, that was an opportunity. The rest of this is just a mess. Probably shouldn't have been taking any trades up in here. Now the E-mini has been moving down still. Are we back to where we were? I took one at 12.5. I think that if I had held it, that would have just been luck. It's the signal that I saw, it went through it. Okay, there did some volume come off in CF though. But at 11 even. Okay. Iceberging there at 11 quarter could mean they could pull a level break. E-mini is making a push to pivot. It's giving these edges way too easily. And CB came off of the high, but not quite enough. MACD is inconclusive. Doesn't know which way the trend is. That is now the third pivot that is lower highs though. Definitely trading a lot at 11.5. So we could maybe you could sell 12 and buy 15. Sure. I don't know if the E-mini correlation is, we can guess anything about the E-mini correlation because it seems somewhat random at the moment. It's a lot of volume that bought in there and didn't go through, though. It's kind of like if the E-mini starts going back up, are treasuries going to go down because that means that equities can handle it? Or do they continue to trade in tandem? If they continue to trade in tandem, you would think that treasuries would be the one to move first, right? So the whole thing just seems a little... Okay, now ZB did have a spike higher and they got hit at 142.30 and downtick. Well, equal level 2 and pretty big on both sides. So I do think if I can get filled at 120, I can get out at 11.5. Assuming I don't get filled on a sweep, of course. Okay. That is curious, isn't it? Wow, 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 wow. Yep. If it's a spreader as the iceberg, though, does that... Which side are they spreading it? That's 10K. You know, we would need to see at least 3 in ZB for that to be the other side of it. Well, they ticked through that one. The E-mini kept looking like, you know, oh, it should turn around here, it should turn around here, and they haven't actually pivoted. Notice that the E-mini just looks negative, 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 and meanwhile we've got this iceberging thing going on here, and see, they seem unrelated. At least I don't see any kind of like correlation at the moment. But the 10K iceberg at 12 is definitely weird. Considering that we had big ones up here and here, that might mean lower. I don't... I mean, that's the bet that I'm making. Seems like a pretty... like they're It's probably spreading though. The amount of volume have to be some spreading, huh? Okay. ZF looks like it wants to make a bit of a push here. I'm much happier with where I took my location. Because even if this doesn't continue through and it comes back, we should be able to get out at 11.5 since there's been so much volume there. And if we do start going down, we could get a decent move because there's a lot of volume to come off here, isn't there? Okay. So that right there is not favorable. That must be why we ticked back up and have some size. Now ZF ticked up that time, and ZN is not going along with it. Kind of curious. Well, I guess I was at the iceberg, right? So ZB's still kind of struggling and wants to push lower, but okay. Change in interest there. Okay. Notice ZF isn't quite going right away. It was ZN ticked first. So here was the edge. So these edges when we were going back that we were relying on to you know, oh, well, let's not hit into, like if I had gone long here and I was down 2 ticks, and I would be like, well, let's not sell 110 because that one might still hold, and that's the one that keeps falling, and then I get -4. So let's see if it does it the other way. Okay, so they tried to clear 11.5, and now they're hitting icebergs again. E-mini making quite the recovery there. But again, pivot doesn't seem related to anything we're doing in treasuries. But they are at the VWAP, so there's that. Okay, now look at ZF sitting on the edge and a much stronger offer. So if they decide to start taking it, then we could move. And there's plenty of long volume in ZN to wash out. So we could get eight ticks on this one. That's a good down tick. $100 was where it started, right? Yep, 100 was where the up move started. So if we get below 100, then... But 100 might be where we might see iceberging the other way, so let's stay vigilant. Thinking ZF still has another step left in it. CB really came down that time. Someone really wants to sell this. That 100 is not going to hold. So this is kind of an interesting trade because with the time that I took it, 120, which was like right here, right? The volume was actually still going along. So I kind of took an opposite trade of what I would normally do, yeah. Because normally I would see a bunch of longs and trade it hoping that they go through it. But the clue that I had, or the thing that was really making me go short, was again that we had this high and they came back and then they tried to break it again and it failed hard with that big iceberg there, right? And then we came down when we came back up at 13.5. And that was one word that stopped, you know, took me out of a trade. We had it again. We had some absorption. And then we came down. So at that point, I was like, okay, I can't take a long. So then we came up and I saw it at 12 and at 11.5 again. And that was when I was like, okay, I think we should take a short. Okay, now that we're at 100, they do seem to be taking it and putting a big offer up, but they're not quite hitting 19.5 yet. The ZF is not necessarily telling me if it can go more or not. I think in ZN though, we have some a little bit more volume that needs to come through first. So as long as this bid on 100, sorry, this offer on 100 stays firm, I think we can keep it safely. So yeah, I think that was an interesting read, but on the other hand, I think it was lucky that it just so happens that there is somebody really big out there, because I think the probability was that there wasn't going to be any other opportunities for us today. Being Monday and all. The question is, there's also another spot we need to watch here is this 22 in ZB, because there could be a VWAP bounce. Okay, well that's better. A little bit of pulling. So what I'm reading now is that these people that are buying aren't people that want to start a trade. That, you know, like let's say, oh, I really think that treasuries are oversold here, and I think a really good fair place to buy them would be 10 in ZF, and I really want to buy it there because I really think that that's going to hold. That's not what I'm seeing, because it's pulling, which means that it's probably just a robot with a profit target, and it saw that downtick and it said, oh, maybe not. So look at what's going on here in the equity space. It's 1,000 traded right there. So as we've started to fall, oh, that's interesting. Yeah, so they were kind of decoupled. Oh, that's interesting. Someone really wants to sell this. What did Trade the Traders do? He went short in the E-mini and long. Am I reading that right? You're long in treasuries at 10? I'd be... I don't like that trade, to be honest. But we'll see what happens. So we saw the iceberg at 10 again, didn't we? Well, volume is about where we could say maybe it's done. That really didn't end up being as much volume long as I thought it was, did it? The problem, though, is that there was an iceberg at 10 selling. And now you're getting an iceberg in ZB just above the VWAP, so somebody is attempting to push it below. And you still have a pretty strong offer here in ZF. They are trading it at 10 quarters, so it might not be ready to go down. This might have to pivot back up and then, or just pivot back up and go nowhere, or go back up again for all we know. That was the lower low. Okay, so they started hitting that 10 quarter. like kind of like the floor just pulled out, but it didn't tick lower in ZN. Oh, okay, so there was a big buy in equities there. Did we see something come out? I don't see anything. Okay, this is still really... And that right there. Not going through 10 quarter, even though a lot hit it. And that clearly isn't going to be going anytime soon. ZB may still, but let's see if they absorb it. 22. Equities continue to go long. Oh, I took it. ZF took it. ZN has not yet. Okay. So we're entering into counter trend period now. Existing home sales resume annual drop despite weather-driven rebound from zero hedge. Okay. Is this going to firm up this time a little bit more to like 1,000? Sketchy. Sketchy. And this one's not. Okay, that's a little bit better. You need to, but it needs to be more than 100. 1,000 is okay though at 10 quarter. See, now we're looking like we're moving down, and the E-mini is not liking it again. Like anytime that this bid starts to look weak, the E-mini is like, no, please don't raise rates. Please, we can't handle a period of monetary contraction. That offer has been staying. Okay, 45. No. Yeah, well, notice that, okay, so this one ticked down, and it's not getting a very great offer. It's just kind of balanced right here. Okay, this one, they took it, and it's got an okay offer. And ZN has not broken. And this has happened a couple of times where it seems like ZN is the reluctant one. It's almost like, well, I think if we were going to say that we're going to go lower and this guy still wants to sell it, then the only way that could be possible is that he still wants more, which would be pretty crazy considering how much they actually absorbed on the offer, right? Okay, well, that was a much stronger bid there at 22. And there's 860 is okay. Nothing, nobody's taking trades in ZN. Blah, 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 blah. Natural gas up 3% today. 0.3%. It looks like the commodities actually took a little bit of a hit this morning. Okay, now they're one tick lower again, and now there's 150 on the ZB. So I've seen this trade before. I was keeping the stats on that sheet. Remember, it was the dead man's fade. So this trade is, we've come down and we've had a lot of selling, and it comes down here and then it just goes dead. When that happens, it tends to continue. So we want to keep it. What is my target? That's a good question. So I've been kind of, I'm definitely going to have to watch and see where they absorb at, but I think it might be 08 half. That was the last, that's the next balance area at least. 08 half right here, interest. And then, you know, there's interest all over down in here. Okay, now ZF looks ready to break another step down. Not ZB. ZN, maybe not. Okay, interesting. I might just take 09 half. I might be forced to just take 09 half. Especially with the 3-4 now trading there. Although we did have a lot trade at 10 as well, right? So they could break it. I think that our probability of getting any more just significantly decreased with seeing that, though. Should have put it on there when there was only 1,000 on the bid. Okay. So, well, now we're getting some wild swings in level 2, so I don't actually know if it's going to continue down or not. I just think that my probability of getting lower may have just decreased significantly. So +4 I think is good. Yeah, there's a little bit. Now ticked up there quite a few times. I think that what might happen is we might come back up to 11. And we can see if there's still iceberg there. Well, they're not giving up that 10 either, are they? Now on the other side here in the E-mini we have it's going sideways, but the cumulative delta is slightly higher. Oh, Goldman hires head cryptocurrency trader. Is that driving us at all? Nope, they have not. Market has not reacted. No, I'm -3. Okay, so here we are. Yeah. Well, you know, it's not even so much into the flow as it is that I just have a tendency to take trades when I shouldn't. You know what I mean? Like let's just go back to this. Okay, so I was yapping over here. And I saw some upticks, but I thought, well, I don't know if I really care about those. And then we really got to push up. So that was a trade that I missed, and I think I could have taken. Okay, but then when we got up here, I took a long up here, didn't I? No, it was at 14. Okay, I took a long up here that obviously did not turn out, and let it go way too far back, and then. You know, I had these two other trades. Where were they at? At 120 and 125. Okay. 120 and 125. And when you look at that area right there, is that really a location that we want to be trading? No. And I think when where we were at position wise, and I mean, come back here and look, you know, there's a lot of volume up in here. We didn't necessarily have a super clear direction, okay? And it wasn't until we had this failure again at 13.5 that we really had any kind of an edge. So we really shouldn't have been taking any trades between here and here. And that's what, and I will just see a move and say, oh, that's a signal, but don't consider the, yeah. So for the one tick, I would, first of all, I will say that even though it's like a volume stop at 400. And I have gotten the slippage. It's only happened like 3 times. Usually it does just give me the 4. So I'm not necessarily concerned about that so much as it is that if I'm having a trade that ends up going 4 ticks. Yeah. I think that the larger problem is that if I have a trade that's going to go 4 ticks against me, I probably should have gotten out of it long before the 4 ticks. And what happens is I just do not realize my probabilities of getting filled. I'm too rosy. I'm not. When the down signal, like the get out signal comes, it's not strong enough to me, you know? It's not like, oh crap, like get out, get out, get out. And that might, yeah. Well, yeah, but you gotta consider how many other times would you have put it at the 4 and it have never been hit because you put it the right volume stop and got 1 tick more, right? And that has happened to me many times, and those have been really good trades. Yeah. Yeah, and that's where I'm saying, like, risking 4 is probably too much on most of these trades. Especially like a day like today. You know what I mean? Like on a trend day, a volume stop of that much I think works really, really well. But on a more rangy day, yeah. You're just sitting right on the edge and you're gonna get caught in the stop run for sure. But anyways, I wasn't finished that. Ooh. Ooh. Okay, well, there was my trade. They did an iceberg at 11, but they block sold instead. Okay, so I got pulled in on a strong take. That's not what I wanted. So like on this one, really should be getting out at 11.5 or 12. Should not be letting it get to my stop. Here's the high volume area. Let's just put an eye on there, by the way, because it's so much volume is traded there. It was at 10.5, right? 10.5, yes. But when that happened, there was a big, we had a big rush up in ZF, was what took us up, and then he sold it. It may have just been a robot. Now, I don't know. 6392. Mm. Okay, so we should be careful on this one because I still am not seeing a huge delta imbalance here. I guess depending on how far back you go, I see about 550K down possibly. No, let's see here, it's 255 to 280, so 15. Okay, so now I'm getting iceberging at 10.5, that's good. So did you see that they ticked down and some people immediately started buying 10.5 and got stopped? And then they immediately turned around and ticked it down. And it's getting quite chippy. Also note there's some big orders below us, 10, 20 here in ZB. Well, I was liking that when it was at 1,000 now. Some people stopping it again. All right, it's ticked up again. A bunch of volume here at 10 pack. We're calling pack 3/4, right? 10 pack because it looks like Pac-Man. If you draw a pie chart of 3/4, it looks like Pac-Man. That's what I'm going with. Oh yeah, sorry, I haven't been checking up on you guys here on YouTube. Let's So is the release of new bonds going to affect the current price movements? Yeah, I think that that's probably a significant factor in why we're moving down. It's too much government debt. And then you add on top of that inflation, and you kind of have this situation where the Federal Reserve might want to hold off on raising rates because of the way that it's affecting the equities markets, but they won't be able to because there's too much risk of runaway inflation and the government needs funding. You can hear the kids walking to school. Okay, ZB's still selling, but they did tick up there. And two-way interest at 110. Or 11. 11 even. Okay, that was bad. So is this like last time where I should just be clicking at a 12? The E-mini is heading lower, and that appears to be what's moving the treasuries up. Some absorption here in CB. I don't like that. Some of this volume appears to be fake, or at least robots, because it's gone between that 25 and that 14 several times. You see how it you kind of get little cascades of changes. Yeah. I think some balance in coming back today was for sure in the cards, but the large prints we've been having is odd. Hmm. So I'm still at somebody really wants to sell it, but that time 3,000 at 11 half. I think I have to get out at -2. Okay. Use. Reset. There we go. Yeah, I think that was the right choice. Okay, let's post our, I'm going to post my numbers first, and then I'm going to walk through how bad my trades were again. I might just sell my cryptocurrencies today, guys. Not even kidding. Okay, so let's just review that last one there. We had a block sell event at 10.5, and then it quickly went against us. We did get an MFE of 2 there at one point. I think that when it... Oh my gosh. Well... Wow. Okay, so when it came back to 110, I think I should have broke even, but this trade's not over, man. I think there is a strong possibility that after I leave here in the 9 o'clock or 11 o'clock Eastern time hour, that there is a push towards the lows. Probably towards this 08. And then we'll see what's below us. And the same with the 142.20. Anyways, somebody really wants to buy, but clearly not my day. This trade right here is really what it come down to. Big mistake. So about equals what I made on Friday, so we're still okay and everything, but sucks. I need to do better. All right, we will catch you later.